Thank you, Senator Kane. Senator Husted.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I get to break out the same chart 2 weeks in a row. Here we talk about price changes from December 2000 to December 2024. What costs? We talk about inflation and affordability. What costs went up the most? One was hospital services. We talked about that last week. And the other, college tuition fees, college textbooks. These are two things that the government is most intently involved in intervening, operating, and subsidizing. And yet, they're the places that we see the most inflation. I think this is particularly true with colleges because the more you give, the more the beast feeds. It just keeps driving up prices. And it's ironic that we're here today, given that yesterday we had a bunch of blue-collar folks in here from labor unions who are talking about apprenticeships. What is an apprenticeship? An apprenticeship is earn and learn in partnership with an employer, where you're earning money, you're getting an education that leads directly to a job. College, in many cases, pay the tuition and hope that you got an education that was somehow going to prepare you for work. This model is broken. Very, very broken, because it's based on an archaic way of thinking about the economy and education. And I can share this. Senator Kane mentioned, articulation agreements, early college. These are things that states are doing, because I worked on this at the state level. In Ohio today, you can leave high school with a associate's or bachelor's degree if you started early enough. You can leave with workforce credentials. You can leave with apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships. You can go and have lifelong learning for free under a program, Tech Cred, as long as it's affiliated with a job. So there are pathways to making an education very affordable. To do this in our country right now, many states have wonderful ways to doing this. But colleges and universities have not largely changed their business model for a very, very long time, and they are driving up the cost of the traditional way of doing this at a time when employers are hiring skills, not degrees. Even with a degree, it's no guarantee that it leads to a job if it's not connected to an employer and a skill that's actually valued in the workplace. So we need to think about all of this very differently. And that's why one of the ways that we can do this is make informed consumers, because this is a huge choice. But you can't make a good choice unless you have all the facts. And what we've introduced, Senator Tuberville and I have introduced legislation to codify the elements of the college scorecard, a bill which would allow students and families to have access to data like estimated earnings. How much, if I go to this school and I major in this, what am I likely to earn? What student loan debt do people at the school usually graduate with? What are the default rates? So that people know exactly what they're getting themselves into before they make a decision to make a huge, huge investment. So I'll give Ms. Hicks the chance to talk about this as the Director of Financial Aid. Help me. Isn't that what we should be doing? Is that something that you could support?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's really important for students to have as much information as possible before they make a college decision. I think I'll answer it this way. One of my favorite quotes that I talk about a lot with students is from Mark Twain, and it says, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. And in a financial aid office, many times, what I deal with and when I'm working with students, I get them at the moment of that experience. And so I work with them when they are kind of at their lowest. They've hit a point where they need to make decisions. They're ready to listen, and I love having tools available to me to help them through that. It's my job to jump in the canoe with them and give them their information that they need, help them paddle if that's what they need me to do, or help point out all the situations and get them fluffed up and back on the journey.
Well, I want to also add that in the budget reconciliation package, we had Workforce Pell, For the first time, we're allowing Pell Grants to be used for workforce credentials, not just degrees, which will help many of our students have a chance to earn a skill, go to work, and do what I talked about earlier in more of an apprenticeship model than ship you away. Mr. Chairman, since there's no one else in here, can I have an additional question here? To Mr. Cooper, you saw that chart. I mean, the cost of the thing, I mean, we keep talking, we have $38 trillion of debt in this nation, $38 trillion in debt, and the solution we keep coming up with is subsidize things more and more and more, rather than figuring out how to bring the cost down to the consumer. What thoughts do you have on how we make college more affordable?
Thank you, Senator. That chart is from my AEI colleague, Mark Perry. He calls it the chart of the century, and I really think it deserves that title. You're absolutely right that we see that industries such as healthcare and higher education, where the government has gotten more involved, are also industries that have seen the biggest price increases. And this is not for a lack of public subsidy. The amount of financial aid that is given by federal and state governments and other non-institutional sources to the average student has tripled in real terms since 1990. From about $1,700 a student to $5,300 a student. Low-income students now get over $11,000 in financial aid on average. This should have made college very inexpensive, but the problem is colleges have raised their prices even more, and the taxpayers and students are basically struggling to keep up because colleges have raised their prices far in excess of inflation, far in excess of what taxpayers are able to support. I say it's like the Red Queen said to Alice, you know, it's taxpayers are running faster just to stay in place with college costs.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you giving me a chance to, we have to change the business model here, and we have to figure out how we're going to make college more relevant, more affordable, lead to careers. Skills are getting hired, not degrees. And colleges are really going to face a challenge because we have a demographic problem. We have fewer and fewer people turning 18 years old. They're going to have fewer and fewer customers, and the marketplace will no longer tolerate the cost that's being demanded, and we're in for a real awakening. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.